What's good, YouTube? This is BoxingWave, and we are back with another prediction video. I'm going to do a quick prediction on this weekend's fight between Jesse Bam Rodriguez. He's going to be defending his WBC flyweight title against Srisaket Sor Rungvisai. This is going to be on DAZN tomorrow night at Saturday or on Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And unfortunately, I won't be doing live commentary this weekend. I won't be home. But I will be doing a quick review of the fight probably later on after the fight or the following morning. All right, so be on the lookout for that. So Jesse Rodriguez, this is going to be his first title defense after beating Carlos Cuadras. All right, which was a very good performance, very good fight. He was able to drop Cuadras, and now he's going on to fighting one of the second four king out of you have Chocolatito, you got Cuadras, you got Sor Rungvisai, and of course you have Estrada. Okay, these are the only active four kings right now, because all of these four guys have wins over each other. We know we have Ioka that's also at 115, but he hasn't fought any of the top guys at 115 so far. All right, all of these other guys have wins over each other, and he's looking to take the second one out. All right. Obviously, we're still waiting for the trilogy fight between Roman Gonzalez and Francisco Estrada. That's coming up. Okay. All right. So look, this right here, Sor Rungvisai, the veteran here, is 35 years old, 50 wins, 43 knockouts, 5 losses, 1 draw against Bam Rodriguez, who's 15-10. All right, no losses. He's only 22 years old against the 35 years old. As far as dimensions, height, is a slight height advantage for Jesse Rodriguez. Slight reach advantage as well for Jesse Rodriguez, who's like 5'4", 67-inch reach. And you got Sor Rungvisai, that's 5'3", and I think 63-inch reach, something around there. All right, so older guy against one of the best younger, fresher guys. Jesse Rodriguez, southpaw fighter. All right. Sor Rungvisai can actually fight both, but he is mainly an orthodox. Oh, I'm sorry. He's mainly a southpaw fighter as well. All right. The only time I've seen him fight a good amount of times, but I know recently he had lost to Estrada in their rematch. He had won the first fight, and then in the rematch he fought as an orthodox fighter, which I thought was a big mistake. He won the first fight. I think he fights better as a southpaw. And in that fight, when he was down and he was losing the early rounds, I think he took a little too long to switch back to southpaw and get up the momentum going. He tried to switch a few times, but just didn't get a good rhythm. He lost that fight and then went on to pick up 3 fights since then, not against top tier opponents though. And that's the thing with him in his career. When you look at his resume, you will see a lot of journeymen there, you know, even some debut fighters there. You know, he'll fight the top guys. He fight the guys like Cuadras, who he's lost to. He'll fight Roman Gonzalez, who he's picked up a couple wins. You know, he has a fight with Estrada. But outside between those big wins or big fights, he has a lot of journeymen in between. He's a Thai fighter. Usually fight other Thai fighters that's on the come up, or, you know, a lot of journeymen, Filipino fighters, Korean fighters, Asian fighters who are not top tier world level fighters outside of the big 3. All right. But yeah, he's picked up a few wins since then, and now he's going into a very important fight, you know, because this will determine whether or not is he still going to belong. He was due to fight the winner between Estrada and Roman Gonzalez in their rematch, but they're going to have their trilogy fight first, and that kind of slowed things down for him. And now he's fighting for a title against the young Jesse Rodriguez. All right. So Jesse, when we look at him, not sure if you've seen this guy. I got put on a little late to him. I just really started watching him and paying attention. I knew who he was, but I never really got, you know, really into him until his most recent fight against Cuadras. That was my first fight that I ever covered on him. And The first thing I realized with him is just how active he is with the high guard. You know, if you really want to learn and watch someone with an active high guard, you gotta watch him. That's the first thing right away that I noticed that clicked with me, and also his movement, his feet. You know, the positioning and everything. It just seems to always be on point. But the active high guard, you know, you're gonna see that a lot with Virgil Ortiz as well, who was also a young, you know, under 25 fighter that's like everybody's looking at, watching out for. Bam Rodriguez, Bam is very good with that. You know, he has that high guard, but he's doing a lot of catching and shooting. He's blocking with his elbows and his forearms. He's moving his upper body side to side. He's changing levels, and he's always stepping around. You has very light feet, very good counter punching, but off the guard is just, you know, counter jabs off the guard. It's just like he's not just stable with the high guard. You know, the high guard, we see a lot of guys that just tighten up and they just stand right there. With Jesse, you see all the things that he's doing. He's very active because he's doing multiple things at the same time. You know, and the feet. The feet reminds me a little bit of Lomachenko, the way he's able to step around his opponents. I think even when it comes to, I also compare him a little bit to Roman Gonzalez as well, who's one of the top dudes in the division. You know, just with the way his style is, even though he's a southpaw, Roman's a orthodox fighter. I think the pressure and the way they apply it is very similar because they like to lean in and step to the side of their opponents and get the angles and stuff and learn what they can, you know, touch you with some shots in the earlier rounds. A lot of similarities with Roman Gonzalez when I watch this kid fight. He's very, very, very technical, and he, even though with technique, he still brings in a lot of pressure. All right, high volume. I mean, pretty much all of these guys at this division and in the smaller divisions, a lot of them bring a lot of. They throw a lot of punches, a lot of volume because they're smaller. But Jesse is very technical with it, and again, it's all about punch placement, feet positioning, using that active high guard of blocking and parry and catch and shoot. And I see him, he's a high level fighter for sure. And I think he's on a path to becoming the next big thing, and taking over the division. You know, I think as soon as some point, same thing like I feel about the welterweight division, you know, and even the lightweight division with the older guys there. You know, there's guys that's on the come up, prospects, and Jesse Rodriguez is actually probably a top 5 fighter that's either 25 and younger. I think probably pound for pound in the sport right now. And, you know, again, I know I'm late, but doing this breakdown here, it made me really go back and watch his older stuff and get more up to speed. And I realized, well, damn, this kid is really, the hype is real. It's not just, he's not no hype job. I think he's for real, you know, just because of technical ability. But he is fighting a very dangerous opponent, and he has to take a different approach against Sor Rungvisai, because Rungvisai is probably the hardest hitter at 115 by far. I don't even think it's close. He is the biggest puncher down there. Doesn't have the technique that a Jesse Rodriguez has, or a Quadras, or you know, Ioka, or all these other guys that he's faced. But his punching power makes up for it, and his pressure and his volume as well. This is a guy that Jesse is going to have to slowly, not slow, but be very cautious. He has to do the work early to be able to be better late. Because if he steps in, you know, without being cautious, he can very well get hit up with a shot hard enough that can hurt him. All right, because he is fighting the biggest puncher in the division by far. We've seen what Sor Rungvisai was able to do to just about everybody, and including Chocolatito. I thought Chocolatito in that fight tried to bang with him in that rematch, at least try to really bang with him, and came out blazing in the with the pressure, doing what he would normally do, and not realizing, he was moving up at that time. You moving up, your power is not going to be as effective. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's shown to be as effective against other fighters, but when he fought Sor Rungvisai, he came in with the same momentum he normally would have, and he got smashed up for it. Lost 2 fights to him. And I think with Bam, I think when he's coming into this fight, even though Quadras is a respectable puncher, I think in this fight he has to take a little bit different of an approach, make every punch count, pick his spots, pick his spots to throw those combinations. But he can't just go to war, straight up war with him. He has to back off at times and look for opportunities instead of just going, punch for punch with Sor Rungvisai, because even though he might be technically better, he might even be outlanding Sor Rungvisai. Rungvisai is a way bigger puncher. His punching power is insane. You don't want to get clipped. All right, so I think with Rungvisai is on his end, again, you want to try to get into the exchange with the younger fighter, the less experienced fighter. That's what you want to do for him. You know what I'm saying? Put the pressure on him, make him fight on his back foot, and try to get him trapped to a point where he had no choice but to go to war with you. On the other hand, I think Bam needs to pick his spots, work the body earlier. Both need to really work the body. You know what I'm saying? Especially Rungvisai, since he's the older fighter, he wants to be able to slow the younger fighter down. Because one thing I noticed in the Quadras fight, and I didn't even go back to watch it, didn't really happen because a lot of it fresh in my head. But even though Bam clearly won the fight, I remember Quadras looking better in the later rounds, in my opinion. I thought I thought Bam did start to slow down and fade a little bit, even though he won clearly. But I thought Quadras was having some better success in the second half of the fight, or towards the end of the fight. All right. So I think Rungvisai needs to do the same, and just start to invest early with the body shots, slow the younger fighter down, and take some win out of him. But overall, I think Bam is going to win this one. I think he's just too technically sound. His volume, his accuracy, and just overall his youth. I think he's fresher. And one thing that I saw in the Estrada rematch with Sor Rungvisai is that mentally he was kind of broken. Like, once he was losing, he just really didn't know how to pull himself out of it. And I think Bam is capable of doing the same thing in this fight. But it should really be a good fight. I think Bam is going to win. I think he's capable of stopping Sor Rungvisai, but I think it might be like a corner thing. I don't know if he's going to be able to knock him out. But I think, Sor Rungvisai doesn't have great defense. And I think he's going to find ways to hurt him. I think he's capable of stopping him. But I think I can see it being stopped just off domination. You know what I'm saying? Also, I think if he's not cautious, of course, Rungvisai has a chance of getting a knockout too. He has a great puncher's chance here. But I think it might be one of those things where we saw with Virgil Ortiz and Cal Velasquez, where Virgil is putting the pressure on, he's being extra aggressive, and then he might have to get clipped and reminded, like, yo, you fighting a real puncher here. And that's what happened to him in that fight. So I think we might get one of those moments in the second or third round where Bam get caught with a really, really good shot, and it might like make him get back in order. So anyway, I got Jesse Rodriguez winning this one. Is it gonna be mine? I think Jesse's gonna stop him. I'm gonna go with the stoppage. I think he wins regardless. I was leaning earlier. I was leaning towards a decision, but I think because of Sor Rungvisai's lack of defense, I think Jesse's gonna get him. I think he's gonna get him in the second half. All right. I don't know how early, but I think he's gonna get him late. All right. I'm thinking like maybe within 10. All right. So anyway, that's my breakdown for the fight. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Make sure you subscribe to and smash that like button. Share the video as well.